Hi,
Hey
guys.
everyone.
Welcome to our podcast. Before we start, we just wanted to put a disclaimer out there because today's topic is about sex and it could be either sensitive or maybe you're too young to hear this topic. And we just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, so if you're someone who's young, please get parent consent. Again, we're not talking about anything graphic, but it is more of like an adult topic. So just make sure you get parent consent to listen to this podcast. But I hope you guys enjoy. Hope hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If it is your first time, my name is Giancarlo,
And I'm Naisha.
and we are super excited for today's video. But before we even speak on the topic, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys share this video, especially this video. I feel like it's
Yeah.
gonna be really helpful. And subscribe to keep up to date with our new videos. And yeah, so again, we're excited about this topic. You want to share what the topic is, Amora?
We're talking about sex today.
Yeah, we're talking about sex today. It's a topic that I'm very nervous for, but again, also very excited for. But you talk about this quite a bit for your
I do
job.
this for a living. Talk to students about sex.
Does it feel different talking to a camera than students?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
hmm
Do you think it's harder or easier?
Easier.
Easy.
100%. Imagine talking to 500 high schoolers who are stubborn, who some of them don't want to listen to what we have to say. You know, right now is I'm great right now.
Actually, I don't think I've asked you this somewhat. Um, when you're talking about like sex in your programs, what's the weirdest reaction you've ever seen or received from students, or have you even received the reactions?
Yeah, well, literally, it's so cool because the way I start talking to them, it's like, oh, today we're talking about something you might be faced with that could be a distraction in your life, and that's sex. And right when I say that, they all either laugh, they all giggle, or they're all like, yeah, like we're talking about sex, those high school students. And it's like, okay. And then once I start talking about the consequences, once I start talking about how sex is it's supposed to be special, not something to play with or mess around with, then I get those like head nods, like, oh, like that's true. Then the vibe kind of goes down at the end, and they're like thinking about all of it. Maybe thinking about the things they've done as I'm because we talk about everything, sexting, STDs, like all the things. And so as we talk about it, they realize they're like, oh shoot. So the way that the reaction at first and then the way they leave is so different every single time.
They come in smiling
They're
and they leave like
like, do I have an
traumatized.
STD right now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Oh my gosh, imagine.
yeah,
Kind of kid are you to be asking that type of
that'd be
question?
crazy.
But so the reason why we kind of want to talk about sex is there's multiple reasons, and first of all, if you're someone who's about to get married, it can be very nerve wracking. Your first night. I know it was for at least for me. Was it for you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wait, by the way, if you don't know us, we recently got married two
Mm-hmm.
months ago,
Yeah.
and it was nerve wracking for us.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking and it's scary, and maybe you've never talked about it with anyone. Maybe your parents have never talked about it, or maybe you never had a wellness education speaker
Go to
come.
your school.
Yeah, maybe it's just a topic that you just want to avoid. And also, we want to talk about it because it's actually really beautiful. Like, it sounds kind of
Yeah.
weird, but it's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, like when mostly students, when I go to schools and I say the word sex, it's either like an embarrassing thing for them, or it's either like, oh, so funny, and it's like, no, like sex is something that's so special, like it is, and that word shouldn't trigger anyone in the embarrassment side of it, or trigger in like, you know what I mean, like, ooh, we're talking about that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I want to know like more because it's beautiful. It should be beautiful.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I feel like it's more normalized. This is kind of going deep already, but I feel like it's so normalized to share porn and talk about porn to talk about sex.
hmm
Now that I think about it, like I feel like students feel more comfortable talking about porn. I don't know. That I just it just kind of hit me. But
Yeah.
anyways, and then the final two reasons why we want to talk about sex is because it's God's design, and we maybe want to talk about it. We want to talk about it with you because maybe it was ruined for you. Oop, sorry.
Yeah. So this could be something that could be either hard to hear or like that was good because I feel like we need to talk about it more, especially like he said, like if you haven't no one talked to you about this before, or you have questions because you're about to have sex at some point. So we want to talk to you guys and share some facts and our stories and everything.
Yeah, 1000%. And before we even start, like, we are not sex as experts. We have not studied this. We are just sharing off of experience and what we've learned. I mean, you know a lot more than me because you do this for a living, right? But we're not experts. Okay, this is just what we've learned in our opinions, right?
Mhm.
But I think the first thing we could share is, our first time. So check it out. No, check it. No,
We walk in the room.
I know.
I took
Romantic music and
bro.
everything. I snatched off your shirt and I was like, let's get it on.
Yeah, no.
No, no. But I'm gonna share our first time in. I actually wrote it down because I wanted it to make sense, and obviously we just wanted. This is what we want to share,
Mhm.
right? So our first time. It was a time where Nisha and I were the most vulnerable we have ever been with each other. A time where we genuinely had nothing to hide. A moment where we are not just speaking with our words, but demonstrating our love for each other in a pure and godly designed fashion. It was a moment where we both learned what it truly meant to be intimate. A moment where we realized this is not how Hollywood or any platform demonstrates it, which is actually where we find the beauty in it. It was a moment of learning and experiencing intimacy with the person you will be with for the rest of your life, and facing the fact that the first time isn't as pleasant as it seems. That's if you've never participated in any sexual activity. We will be forever grateful for our first time because we learned, we grew, and we were vulnerable, all under God's grace and God's timing.
Amen.
So that, amen. It felt right, huh? It just felt right to say
It
amen.
just the end felt right, but then I'm like, amen to sex. You know?
What? Let it be so, amor. Let it be so.
Yes.
But yeah, that was our first time. And if you didn't understand anything I said, you can just go back and listen to it.
Mhm.
I just want to go ahead and dive right in
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so long story short, first time is not how, like we said,
Hollywood,
Hollywood
Hollywood.
portrays it to be. It's not like porn portrays it to be, which we'll go into that a little bit. Um, but yeah, but it's still beautiful. Like that's the beauty of it. You two people discovering the beauty of sex together, right? And so we're gonna talk about sex, but if we're gonna talk about sex, we have to go to the very beginning.
Yep.
The very, very beginning, because who created sex? God. Okay? God created sex. In Genesis 1:28, it says, Then God blessed them and said, Be fruitful and multiply, aka have sex and have babies. Fill the earth and govern over it. Reign over the fish, the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground. So who created sex? God. And it's beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, and one thing you have to realize too is God is such an amazing creator because we believe that God made sex for man and woman, right? And the way God made a man and the way God made a woman, when you have that intimacy, you just see how perfect God's design is for each other, which also shows, wow, this creator is perfect and he created sex this way. And that's why, this is why it's so beautiful, just because the way he created it, and he is a good God and a good creator. I mean, after he created everything in 7 days, he said everything that he created was good, right? Not bad, good,
Including sex.
including sex.
Sex is good.
Hmm.
Amen.
Hmm. Your amens.
But no, yeah, it's like God created it and it's not supposed to be like ugly, or it's not supposed to, or it's not what porn shows it to be, or honestly society nowadays, movies, like that's not how it should be, because it's
Yeah.
special because it was created by God.
Yeah, the way people see it, the way people talk about it in schools, the way you've seen it on social media or whatever it is, it's so tarnished, right? And it's a subject and a topic that it's like, wow, this is not ugly. This is not bad. And unfortunately, us humans have ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing specifically that ruined it was, you want to talk about it, Amor?
And that's porn. Okay. Now, I feel like porn, that's not what sex is. And I every time I go to schools and talk to students about this, I tell them that's not sex because number one, they are total strangers. They don't know each other. They don't have a relationship. And number two, some of them are forced and sex trafficked to being there, right? So that's not what sex is, and it completely distorts the idea of sex. And it's crazy because research and surveys back this up. They say like people who have gotten addicted to porn after the fact, after they're addicted and they got over the addiction, they say when I was addicted to it, it completely changed my views on relationships, my views on love, and it just they don't see love and relationships the same way because porn completely distort that idea. So your turn. That was my cue.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna keep going. Yeah, yeah. One thing you have to understand is porn is not true intimacy. Porn is a visual of two individuals who are arousing each other from for money, or unfortunately, like Nash just said, being forced, to having sex, which is the sad reality. And I know, I remember when I was younger, not younger actually, it was not too long ago actually. I was speaking to this one student, and he was asking me questions about porn, and I was giving my advice, and then I don't know where I told him I was like, bro, like, what if that's your daughter in that video? Or what if that's your sister in that video?
That's crazy.
Or yeah, or what if that's your mom in that video and other people are watching your mom or your daughter or your sister? And
That's
it
deep.
yeah, and it's like, dang, I never thought about it that way. That's someone's daughter. That's someone's sister, friend, whoever it is. And majority of the time it's they're doing it not for good reasons. So you're pleasing yourself through somebody's hurt, which is obviously the sad reality of pornography. And another thing that might ruin your view on sex is maybe sexual abuse. And we're not gonna go too deep into this topic, because we know it's a sensitive topic. But unfortunately, maybe you've been through that, right? And maybe it tarnished your view on sex. Maybe it tarnished your view on a man, or if it's even pleasant and stuff like that, right? And unfortunately, that's a big thing why people have a bad view about sex. And one thing too, unfortunately, if that happens, it could cause maybe sexual addiction, and you see the sex as something that as a coping mechanism instead of something that's beautiful and pure that you need to save yourself for. And then so you kind of make it as a temporary relief for yourself. Obviously that's not the case for everyone, but it's a possibility. And she reminded me another thing that could tarnish it. Your view on sex is maybe you just have fear. You have fear of another man, or a fear of once you get in that moment of intimacy, you're just gonna get flashbacks, right? So that can be another thing that tarnishes your view on sex. And then the next one is having that ruins your view on sex is having sex at a young age. Do you want to go ahead and talk about that one?
Yeah, like being exposed to sexual activity or sex at such a young age can completely tarnish the idea of sex because maybe the way you were exposed to it wasn't in the right way. Or maybe, like I said, through movies or shows or porn videos, whatever it is, if you're exposed to that at such a young age, you might think at such a young age that that's what sex is. And so as you grow old, you have that mindset of this is what sex is. And it completely, again, tarnishes the idea of sex and distorts how it should be. Which, again, we'll talk later about like not how it should be, but like the beauty of it, right? Because sex is something that's beautiful, and society completely tells you like no, like it's just physical. Like no, it's sex is something you should have fun with. Like no, right? So
Yeah, and one thing too, I did some research, and by the way, everything we're talking about, we have research, so we'll put the link in the description because we're not just talking out of our own minds, right? But what's crazy is I researched that 55% male and females have had sex before they were 18, which is so crazy because men's don't fully develop until I believe 25, and women don't fully develop till 21. And it's so crazy that they do it at such a young age because they really don't know what they truly want.
or can I add
Yeah,
on to
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Um, So like I said, I go to schools and talk to students. And the one thing I realized why young people are having sex is because number one, peer pressure. Okay. They think that because, oh, my friends are having sex, I have to now. Or because I have to fit in with the crowd I'm in, I have to have sex. Or because I don't want to seem as lame, I have to have sex. Or because the person I'm dating, like they want to have sex. So in order for that person to stay with me, I have to give them that. And like there's just so many reasons why young people are having sex at such a young age. And I want to speak into that because when it comes to, for example, peer pressure, if you think, if you have to prove yourself to your friends in order to be cool or be liked by them, I don't think those are your friends. Okay. And if you yourself want to wait to have sex, but the person you're with doesn't want to, and they keep pushing your boundaries and keep telling you like, no, it's gonna be fine. We'll use protection, all these different things. I don't think that's your person either because they should respect the boundaries you have regarding sex because they see that sex is special to you and they should respect that, right? Um, and also like again, when it comes to being exposed to porn, for example, at such a young age, you might get curious. You're like, I'm curious about sex. I want to try it out, and it's so like worth it to just wait. And like I want to really emphasize that part, like waiting part of it, because a lot of young people think, oh well, it's just the physical side. It's just physical. It's not a big deal. And it's crazy how not only God says, hey, this is something that should be beautiful and special. Psychologists back up what God says. Psychologists say that when it comes to sex, it is one of the most special, most intimate forms of bonding known to man. So when it comes to sex, two people come together and it forms a bond. It forms a strong connection, and that connection should not be broken, right? And nowadays, a lot of young people are having sex with random people or people they know that's not their long term relationship just because they wanted to have fun, just because they were at a party, just because they want to prove their friends. Like, and they have sex and they break that bond. They should not be broken. And it's crazy, right? Like psychologists back up the word of God because like sex is something that should be special between two people who love each other and are committed to each other for life, which is marriage, right? Um, sorry, I went crazy there for a second.
No, that was really good. And were you gonna say
No,
something? Oh, and I think one thing too is you have to understand is when you have sex with someone, that person's gonna be with you for the rest of your life.
should be with you.
No, no, what I'm saying is
Oh, I yeah
like
okay.
that memory, and obviously, yes, Jesus can wipe that slate clean, 1000%. Um, but you're always gonna have that in the back of your head and that thought, and if you're gonna take that with you, unfortunately, to your next relationship, right? Now, I'm not saying that's gonna be a problem. I'm just saying that's your past, and I'm sure you want a pure past to give to your future potential husband or wife. You know what I mean? And people who have sex with someone who they're not even gonna marry or whatever, I feel like majority of the time they regret it.
They do. We talk about that too.
They do?
There's the higher percentage is those who regret it,
Yeah, because it's like, first of all, I don't even like that person. I don't even know why I did it with that person, you know? So it's just like,
or once they have sex, they realize right then after the fact, wait, like I should have waited. Like this is crazy. Like I gave this person this one special thing. They're not even my long term. Like I just did it for fun. Like
mm,
like you realize right after because it's something that should be special
it's just crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy how like something so special can be ruined
in a
in minutes, in
in minutes.
seconds.
Yeah,
And you're just sitting there like, ah, like I really did that, you know? But we can go on and on
I know
about that.
we're talking about sex in this podcast, and I'm sure we're not even mentioning half
Mm-mm.
of things we could talk about regarding sex because there's so much. But we don't want to make this podcast long.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we were talking about porn and how
Yeah, just said
society changes your view on sex.
1000%.
And yeah, what else are we gonna
So now we want to
talk
move on
about?
to the top to some specific points because we don't want to be the type of people that tell you just to not have sex. Don't do it. It's bad. I'm sure everyone hears that, but we kind of want to put it into a positive note and say this is why you shouldn't have sex. Kind of give you options and just kind of just open your eyes up. To why you shouldn't have sex and other things that we're gonna bring up.
Mhm.
But the first one, like I said, is why you should wait to have sex before marriage. Do you want to read the first one?
Because you are having sex with your long life partner and not with someone who may or may not be your partner.
And like we mentioned before, that they may or may not be your partner. And if you had sex with someone who wasn't your partner, you might have to deal with regret, shame, fear, sexual diseases, and pregnancy.
Mhm.
And we've already kind of talked about regret, but let's talk about shame. You know, shame is something that no one ever wants to feel. And fortunately, if you're someone who had sex before, your lifelong partner, you're gonna carry this weight and this shame, like, oh, I feel dirty, or I feel like this has just ruined me, and it didn't. You have an opportunity to be white as snow, through Jesus, right? But you don't want to carry that shame.
We also kind of talked about fear earlier, right? How you might, depending on something you went through, you have fear of sex, and you shouldn't, because again, sex is something that is beautiful, and you should look up for, or up to,
You should
look up to it. No,
no
like want,
looking forward to it.
yeah, looking. That's the word. Looking forward to it, and not something that should scare you. And the next thing is consequences, like STDs, sexual transmitted diseases, right? Um, this is something that, like, if you choose not to wait, and you're a person who sees sex as not a big deal, and you're having sex all around with different people, you could have consequences of getting an STD. Let's be honest, that's a consequence you could find yourself in if you are having sex all around, taking it as not a big deal, not waiting until your lifelong partner. Um, and it's crazy because there are 13. Well, there was this study that was done. I think it was in 2018. They wanted to see how many STDs were created in a year, and it was 13 million in a year. There were like new STDs cases found. And so, like, if you break that down, that's about a million per month. Okay. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, like, I don't know a single person that has an STD. Like, that's crazy. Because most people with an STD are asymptomatic. They don't have the symptoms of an STD. They don't have, like, the signs at all. And they don't even know they have an STD, right? So you might think you're good, but you're not, right? And you might think that you're good because you're using protection. But protection doesn't guarantee you 100% that you won't deal with the consequences, right? Like, for example, like condoms are 87%, it's not 100%. 1 out of 7 girls end up getting pregnant while wearing a condom. And then there's birth control pill, right? The birth control pill. Why are you laughing?
Because I feel like I'm a student,
I
like
know, yeah.
learning.
This is literally what I talk about to people, to students. The birth control pill is 93%, which is high, but birth control is not gonna protect you from STDs. Okay, and also pregnancy. There's also that other consequence as well, because again, protection doesn't guarantee you 100% protection. And so the main thing we tell students at our organization is the waiting part, because that guarantees you 100% that you'll be safe. But it's not just that aspect of it. Like, yeah, you won't deal with consequences. It's that you should wait, because God created this as something that's supposed to be within marriage, within a covenant, and not just with a random person, not just with someone it's your short term relationship, it's not gonna last, you're just having fun, or not just because you want to prove your friends something and you want to have your friends think you're cool now because you had sex with a person, right? Like, it's important. And even, like I said, the CDC, which is the Centers Disease of Control, they back that up as well. They say sex is best in a long term committed relationship. The Bible says that it should be in marriage. So those are some of the things the reasons why you should wait. But obviously, the main reason is because God calls us to wait. God calls us to have that special moment in marriage with your long term person, because that's when it's beautiful.
Yeah, 1000%. And the next one, I think we're kind of moving on to, like, if you're someone who is maybe afraid of having sex, or you're just nervous about it, you might ask yourself this question. Are you gonna say something? Oh, I know. I definitely asked myself this question multiple times, and I
Me too.
know guys ask this too, and you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that question is, do I have to have a perfect body for sex with my partner? The answer is No, you do not have to have a perfect body. You do not have to have those six pack abs. You don't have to have that big old butt. You don't have to have the big old chest, lip fillers, whatever it is. You know, I really believe is I really believe that when you truly love somebody for their heart, for who they are as a person, when that time comes for sex, it's going to be the most amazing, beautiful thing, and you're going to be attracted to them by like
In every way.
in every way. All the insecurities you had,
Hmm.
they'd love.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense. But we are a living testimony about that. So
Hmm.
you do not have to have a perfect body for anyone. And I think if maybe you're in a relationship and you think that way, but the other person doesn't think that way, they probably have their priorities twisted. Or maybe you're that person who thinks that way. You might have your priorities twisted because all you want is body. But in reality, for what you really should be desiring is true love and true intimacy.
Yeah.
And that's not through just body.
The physical, the outside.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of that thought, or the way you see sex that way, comes from you might be thinking that sex is just physical, but I believe sex is more emotional than physical.
It starts from the morning to night, the beginning of the day to the end of the night.
You might have to explain that because I know what you mean,
Okay.
but I'm like that kind of sounds like what
Okay. Sorry,
like we're
guys.
having sex since the morning and all the way.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. You want me to explain myself first, or do you want to go ahead and share?
You can go.
Okay. What I mean by this is that, you said sex is about feeling as well too. It's
It's
not just
emotional.
emotional, not just the physical. So we learned this from our one of our pastors, Pastor Pepe, and I think I even learned this from Brandon Lake. Sex starts like a good way to like really enjoy sex. It starts from the morning and loving on your wife, loving on your husband, hugging her or doing something nice for her, calling her beautiful, taking out the trash, making her breakfast. Just little things that make her feel special, right? And doing little things that make the husband feel special throughout the day. And as you're doing these things throughout the day and hanging out and laughing and having a good time, it's gonna end off on a beautiful, beautiful moment at night. So that's what I meant. How sex, like obviously, sex doesn't start till
Yeah,
it actually happens, but it really does start from the morning to night.
because sex is fueled by love. Like it should be fueled by love. It shouldn't be fueled by, oh, nice body. Let's go.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
that was fire.
Like it
That was
shouldn't be
good.
like,
Hmm.
oh, nice titties. I want to have sex with you right now.
Yeah.
No, it's fueled by love. Like you love this person, and out of that love and drive and that passion you have for them, not just physical, but like for what that person is to you, then that drive will be like, yeah, like I want to have sex with you, and I love having sex with you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I was gonna say something else. Um, I lost my train of thought. I had another good one too.
If you remember it, say it.
I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. But the next thing is one thing we want to say that physical attraction is important in sex as well. Like obviously you don't want to be intimate with someone who you're not attracted to. That's very important as well. We're not diminishing that. We're attracted to each other as well,
Yes.
right? As you should be with your partner as well. But what's even better is just the type of relationship you have with that person.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember?
No, I'm trying to think so hard, but I can't.
Okay. Do you want to move on to the next topic? Or you want to try to remember?
Oh no, yeah, I had something. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. She remembered.
Oh, never mind. That goes in another.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good. And the next, I guess, question type of topic we want to just kind of mention out there that you might ask yourself is it normal to be nervous and scared before sex?
It is. I want to talk about this one.
Go for it. I want to go for
Okay,
it.
this is so normal. Okay, like if you're nervous, if you're getting married or whatever, your wedding's coming, and you're like, I'm nervous. Like, why am I nervous? That's totally normal because that was us. That was so
What you
us.
mean? I
Yeah,
was
you were.
calm, cool, and
Mm-hmm.
collected.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should have seen me.
No, but
I'm
it
joking.
is because it's something I believe nervousness can be a beautiful thing when it comes to sex. Because if you think about it, sex is something that's special and beautiful. And it's like I'm nervous because I'm excited. Like I feel like that nervousness comes out of that excitement of like I want it to happen, but like I'm like so like, like how's it gonna be? Like and it's not a bad thing. It's just you're looking forward to it and you have never had this experience before, or maybe you have, but you still are nervous about it because this is your person, and it's okay to be nervous. And one thing that helped us is we had premarital counseling before our wedding, and our pastors, they really like they were not shy about the topic. They gave us all of their wisdom, everything that they had to talk about sex. They told us, and it helped so much. I when I had my bachelorette, there's girls in my bridal party that were married and had sex before, and they told me their advice, and it helped so much because again, it's something that you should look forward to it. You're excited, you're nervous, like all the things, right? And I just want to say, like, it is special and, like, it's okay to be nervous because the beauty of it is you both are nervous and you both are looking forward to that and you can go through that nervousness together. Because we even talked about it before the wedding, like, are you nervous? And then you were like, yeah. Are you? And I'm like, yeah. But I'm excited.
I was not
You were
nervous.
so nervous. And if you realize, looking back, every time we talked about being nervous, the conversations always ended with, but I'm excited, but I'm looking forward to it. But like, I'm so ready for it. Like, I
Yeah,
cannot wait for that day.
yeah,
Yeah. You want to add to that?
yeah. One thing, I mean, so it is normal to be nervous and scared. But like Nisha mentioned, we talked about it, and we even talked about like our insecurities. I think that's a big thing is really communicating with your partner before that special night. What your insecurities are. That's just what worked for us. Because when that moment comes, you don't want to be like hiding, right? You want to be open because that again, that's the most intimate you will ever be. That's the most open you will ever be with your partner. So talk about it with your partner. Ask questions. As you ask them questions, let them ask you questions. And another thing too is like, she mentioned ask for advice. Obviously, ask for advice. Don't be afraid to ask for specific advice as well on sex. Because it does help out a lot, and there's nothing shameful to ask. I mean, you shouldn't be ashamed to ask. You shouldn't feel embarrassed to ask because the people you ask, and if they genuinely love you and like they want to take care of you, they will answer those questions and will not laugh at you. They will answer honestly. And thankfully, we had those people around us that helped us and helped
Mm-hmm.
us understand how to have a good experience. So yeah.
I another reason why you could be nervous or scared, and I'm gonna say this because going to schools and speaking to students, most of them come to me asking me this question: does it hurt? Okay, more specifically for us women, and yeah, I'm not gonna what is it sugarcoat it. It does hurt first time. Obviously, like the first few times, but again, the beauty of it is you learn together. Your partner learns what to do to like help. You tell your partner like, hey, maybe like slow down, or hey, maybe let's take a break, or you like it's a learning experience, and that's the beauty of it, and it's also discovering as you keep doing it with this person, like the things you like, the things you want to do with each other, like, and there comes a point where it's like it doesn't hurt anymore, and it's like you actually enjoy it, and it's like you're excited for it more than nervous, and that's the beauty of it. Like again, like just kind of it's a learning experience together. And something else that I've seen a lot of people, mostly young people, say is, "Oh, but you have to test the car before you drive it, because how would you know if the like how would you know if it's good if you haven't tested it?" And literally students have asked me this, and I just tell them like, "Well, first of all, we're not cars. Okay, we're humans, the heart, soul, mind, and body, humans that were created by the Lord. And sex is something that was created by God. We're not cars. And also, wouldn't you rather have that first experience with your forever partner and you both having that experience together. Like I'll be honest, like the first time, yes, it hurt, but we also had fun. Like there were moments where we were like, "Bro, what are we doing?"
All right, hold on.
Like it was fun, and it was like obviously romantic as well. Not like the movies, I'll tell you that. Like Hollywood portrays it in such a wrong way. But it was fun learning it together. And that's the beauty of it. Like once you have your person, like you should learn that together. And you learn what you both like, what you don't like. We're not cars, okay? So stop saying that. I mean, so yeah, it is normal to be scared and be nervous, but remember, like maybe the other person is also nervous. Talk to your partner about it, and there's beauty in being nervous because you're looking forward to that, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a learning experience.
Yeah, 1000%. And the last thing, not the last thing, but the last question you might ask yourself, or something that kind of happens to people sometimes, is what if you had sex before marriage? It's okay. I'm not saying it's okay to do it more, right? But what I'm saying is it happened. It doesn't define who you are. And as long as you go to the Lord's feet and ask for forgiveness of that sin, that moment you ask for that forgiveness, it's gone.
He wipes you clean.
He wipes you clean. Okay? So don't worry about it. And the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life is not going to judge you, it's going to embrace you and say, I love you. Now, even though you had that past, it's okay. I am still very excited to be intimate with you. And you're not dirty. You're pure. You're white as snow because you've been made clean through Jesus. So if it's happened to you, if you did it in the past, you're okay. Don't worry.
And the last thing we want to talk about is how to prepare your body for sex. Mostly me, huh? This is my
Yeah, this is
part.
kind of on. Guys, we have it easy. We
Y'all
have it pretty easy,
do.
honestly. So the way we kind of prepare is just do the most push ups as you can, sit ups, eat your
Drink a
veggies,
lot of water.
make sure you shower good. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. No, but honestly, okay, I'm excited. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. Before our wedding, I was honestly over here searching on TikTok. How does a woman prepare for sex? Like hygiene tips and all these different things because you want that moment to be special. You want to be clean, like all the things. I'm gonna tell you all because no one, literally, even me searching it, there was nothing online about it. So I'm gonna tell you what I did. I guess. Ooh, this is crazy. Okay, number one, I personally got on birth control. Okay, I know this might not be your thing. You might like the natural way, the pull out method, the condoms. But I was like, no, I don't want that. So I got on birth control. But I also got on birth control for other reasons. When I would get my period, it would be bad, y'all. Really, really bad. Also, my skin, I wanted to help with it was other reasons, but also the ability to have sex and not wear protection was one of them. And not be pregnant. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I got on birth control. That's something that you can do. Do your research. I would suggest going to your gynecologist, talking to them about that because that's what I did. And I know a lot of people talk about the bad experiences regarding birth control. I've had a great experience with it, so that's me. But that's something I did. Okay, another thing, vitamins. I took a lot of vitamins. Like vaginal vitamins helped a lot. And you're having secondhand embarrassment. I can feel it right now.
Guys, I only thought she was going to talk about birth control.
No,
On the notes, it says how to prepare your body for sex. Nisha, birth
I'm
control.
being real with them. No one told me this stuff.
Oh, man.
So yeah, but
This is for 18 and up.
yeah, vitamins help a lot. Water, and yeah, and honestly, again, talking to the girls in your life who have had sex, who are married, that helped a lot. My girls that are in my bridal party, they helped so much. I asked them specific, literally the most specific questions you can think of. I asked them, and again, like they're your people. They're not gonna laugh or they genuinely were like, okay, listen, and they told me their advice, and I was like, okay, 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 and yeah, that's how to prepare your body. That's I could go on and on about this topic, but I know you're having secondhand embarrassment right now, so I won't talk about it.
No, you can keep going. It's fine. It's just I didn't expect that.
Oh, well, this one might not be for everyone, but I worked out before the wedding, and yes, I wanted to look good, but also feel good. Like I don't know what it was about it. Like me being active made me feel good in myself and like confident. And I'm like, oh yeah, I feel pretty. I feel good. Like because you want to feel your best. So that's also something else. You working out for guys too. How to prepare your bodies.
Yeah, just shower, bro. That's all I recommend. Just shower. Smell good.
Just shower.
You'll be good. No, I mean that's just. I mean, girls are more. They have to prepare more
Guys, if I could do a whole podcast on like going deep, but we're not gonna do that.
for the girly girls.
Yeah, like just for the girls. Because honestly, yeah. Because I would search these questions and like online doesn't help, Google doesn't help. So like I had to figure it out on my own, which is
What
fine.
if you have like a private link,
Ooh,
a private podcast, invite
just for
only,
girls.
just for girls? You see a bunch of guys dressed up in wigs. It's just
Girl,
the-
honestly, that'd be because like imagine if I invite like like other girls in our lives to be
Oh
speakers
yeah,
regarding that
yeah, yeah,
topic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be honestly
That'd be
fire.
pretty fire. I would.
Okay. Well, anyways, that is everything we wanted to talk about today. Again, there's so much we could talk about regarding sex, but we just wanted this whole podcast to be the focus of this whole podcast to be waiting till marriage is beautiful. It's worth it. It's godly. Sex is pure, created by God. And yeah, there's beauty when it comes to sex. It shouldn't be a joke. It shouldn't be something that you play with. Sex is not just physical, there's that emotional side, and it's special, or it should be special.
Yeah, 1000%. And guys, I kind of want to throw this out there. We were being very vulnerable. We understand we're putting this out online, and we understand it's open to anyone. But just understand our hearts. The reason we share this is because we just want to help. And if this helped one person, then it was worth it. Okay. And hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please feel free to message us. Any topics you want to talk about, you want us to talk about, let us know. And I think
If
that's
you have more questions, you can also DM us,
hmm
like, and we can answer those to you
yeah,
personally.
girls,
Yeah,
girly girls, DM her. Don't ask me that because I don't know.
please, I want to talk about it.
Yes, DM her, guys. We can talk about football. We can do that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And do you have anything else? Oh, we gotta say it. Make sure you guys like the video
Share the video,
and make sure you guys subscribe.
and we'll see you guys in our next video. What? Peace out, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
That was my cue.